Please come channel. So today's video is going to be different. Today I thought I would show you a DIY how to make a gluten-free ice cream cake for any special occasions, holidays, or birthdays. I have made this cake 3 different times, so I have mastered how to make it. So tonight I'm going to show you how to make the base and do the topping of it, and then tomorrow morning I will show you how to make the frosting. You also need a few ingredients that I'm going to give you tips on. If you guys are looking for this, I would recommend getting pre-made fudge because it makes the whole process a lot easier. I would also recommend getting Breyer's ice cream because it sets a lot easier. I also recommend, I'll show you all my ingredients in a minute, getting saran wrap because it makes the process a lot easier. So let me kind of show you. So this process takes about 4 hours to do. So I recommend getting everything in the night. So start the night before, then do the day of. You also need a cake tray to hold it. So I'm going to show you everything you kind of need for this video and how to make it. It looks a lot hard. The recipe is going to sound a lot harder than what I show you. So let's get started. Alright guys, I am doing a voiceover because I was too excited to do this, so it didn't really work. So you need the Oland Lake butter, or sticks of butter will work of any kind, so you can measure equally. You'll need 1.5 quarts of ice cream in chocolate or any kind. You'll also need 1.5 quarts of the Breyer's vanilla, but any kind will work for ice cream, but make sure it's gluten-free. You also need the gluten-free double stuffed Oreos, or regular stuffed Oreos will work fine, or you can do the regular Oreos if you want to make it gluten-full. You also need some saran wrap. I'm just using the crackling kind because that's what I had, but it didn't kind of work. I also have the Hershey's hot fudge. Also make sure that is gluten-free. You also need powdered sugar of any kind. I'm just using the Walmart brand because it was gluten-free. Then you need Kemp's 1 pint of heavy whipping cream, which is 2 cups. You'll also need some sprinkles. I didn't show them very well. You also need an 8 by 3 pan, like that, or pop out bottom one works. So I'm gonna go put the vanilla back in the freezer. So you need take your 8 by 3, and you want to put saran wrap both ways. It is very important to cover all the surface of the metal pan so it's easier to get the ice cream cake out of the pan. And guys, this is the 3rd time I've made this ice cream cake, so I'm kind of pro at making this. So I don't really need the recipe for anything, but I do check the measurements to be sure. So now let's go to the other side. So it looks sort of like this. So you just want to make sure all the corners are covered so that when you put your ice cream in, it does not fall. That's what I'm kind of working on. It should look like this when you're done. It's a lot of work doing this, but it works really well. I believe you can use parchment paper too. You also need some parchment paper for what you need, and then you're going to work on the crumble of the Oreo cookies. You will need to do 12 Oreo cookies, or 130 grams, which I did measure just to see, and I was like 1 gram off, but it still was fine. You do not have to measure in grams. I was just very curious because I have a food scale that has grams, and it was kind of fun to see. Alright guys, you now need to grab a piece of parchment paper for your cookie sheet or my little bowl that I'm using. I really should have cut it down when I was working on it, but I was kind of in a hurry to get this done. I just had gotten done with work, and it was a lot of, my body just hurt, so I was breaking up the cookies into little pieces, and then you need like a back of a wooden spoon or a back of something to do. So you just keep doing this until you're done breaking them all up. I also did forget to say you do need like a wooden spoon and a couple spatulas you'll see in the video. Now you're just going to mix, like kind of crush them together, and you want to just make sure you do it correctly, because it just to mush it up with something, or you can use a plastic or Ziploc bag, but I really don't recommend it because they get stuck. So I spread this up a little bit so that you guys didn't have to be bored watching me mix or crush it up. So I did, like I said, you need to warm up your oven or your air fryer to 350. I did my air fryer because it was easier, because you guys were on my top of my stove. And sometimes when my oven warms up, my stove gets kind of warm, and I did not want the camera to overheat. So then I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of butter. So my one problem that I did have, my microwave is kind of down, so I stuck it in the air fryer for a few minutes to melt the butter, and then I mixed it in. You can see that in this clip. The reason I'm doing as much butter as I'm doing is because I only had a half a tablespoon. So now I'm just mixing in together the mixture. Just mix it together like so. I did taste it. It was delicious. So now we're waiting for the air fryer to warm up. So then you want to take your 8x3 pan again, and you want to take the chocolate ice cream that you have there and open it up. Like you saw, mine was a little spilt because I put it in my parents' freezer, and it got a little melted. So now I'm just looking for a spatula again. And now you're just going to want to take it, and you want to just like pat it down like so. It does not have to be totally perfect, because if you get it good, then you want to let it sit in the freezer for 30 minutes. I let it sit in about an hour because my friend and I got talking on the phone, which is totally fine. I was fine with finishing it later. So yeah, just smush it down like so. Just make sure it looks beautiful on the bottom. It does not have to look perfect. Now I'm looking at the recipe to see how many minutes I have to put it in the freezer for. Like, I actually misread the directions at my older brother's house. I put it in for 10 minutes, then put the fudge topping on, and then put it in for 30 minutes. So I read it backwards, but this does work really well. So I'm also going to tell you too that you might want to make sure you have gluten-free ice cream. And yes, now I have my Oreos. They are done. So I also will show this where I'm like mushing up all my Oreo bites or crumble. I'm going to tell you that you have to really be careful gluten-free but may contain gluten, so I just kind of stayed away from it. So you can stay away from it, and I would recommend Breyers because it just firms up a lot. So now you're just going to want to crush up all your Oreos, and then you're going to want to pull out this is like 30 an hour later, and I'm putting in the fudge topping. And it's probably about a cup of fudge. I don't really measure. But I was using the last bit of what I had left over from the last time I made ice cream cake. And then you're going to want to spread it around. And this is the time you're supposed to put it back in the freezer for 10 minutes, but I didn't. I did it right away because it was like, by the time I was done with this, it was like 12:30. Because my friend and I talked for a long time, which is fine. And then when you just put the stuff on top, I would recommend actually to crush them up a little bit more. I have a little bit of a spot where it's sticking out a little bit. And then you're going to open the vanilla. This is where you could stick it back in the freezer for 10 minutes, but it does not really matter because I've done it this way and it's fine. Then you want to stick it in the freezer overnight. So I did mine for probably 10 hours before I finished it. And yes, you don't have to use the full vanilla if you don't want to, but I like to because it makes it good. You want to make sure it is very like squished down into the perfect just flat, and then you're gonna want to just do that for a little bit until it's completely flat. Then you just stick it overnight. I'm sorry if there was a bit of like loud noise. I had to unplug my microphone I was using. So put it in the freezer for about overnight or 4 hours before serving. And now we do next day. I have my cake carrier here that I was talking about yesterday. Borrowed it from my mom. I also have my vanilla that I needed. So this is the vanilla I'm using. So I have to bring it back to my parents' house when I'm done. Sorry guys, my recipe has disappeared. Okay. So you also need, for this recipe, you need 2 cups of heavy whipping cream, this is the part where I don't like doing 3/4 cup of powdered sugar or 100 grams. Forever. And you also need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So I'm grabbing my cold heavy whipping cream. So I do recommend frosting the day of, so it's as frost and put away. I'm looking for the teaspoon again because I keep forgetting to pull out stuff. So let's pour, that is 2 cups right there. If you buy a bigger heavy whipping cream, you want to measure. So I'm going to take my scale again, and I'm measuring in grams. I'm measuring 100 grams, which I'm just using that container. I'm wiping off a little bit of gunk on the bottom so I can put on my scale. I don't want to get dirty. So there's 100 grams or 1/4 cup measure, and now we're just gonna put in the vanilla. There's my teaspoon. We're going to put in 2 of those. I'm using Kirkland's vanilla. It does not matter what vanilla you use. I just asked my mom to give some to me because I needed some. I was not going to go buy some. Then you're just going to pour if you have a pint of heavy whipping cream, just do it, pour it in. I will have to say though that it takes about 6 to 7 minutes to get your full whipped cream effect. I would also recommend using a KitchenAid if you do have it, because it's a lot easier than holding the hand mixer for 6 to 7 minutes to get it heavy. So now we mix it. So I sped this up too, so it takes about 5 to 7 minutes to get it the full consistency. When I did it at the 5 mark, it was almost there, but not enough, so I did another 2 minutes. So I think it takes at least 7 minutes to get the consistency you want. I went between two to four the speeds on my hand mixer. So I would start out really slow when you are mixing in the powdered sugar, so you don't get it all over yourself. Okay, I'm checking it and realizing it's not done. Tasting it to see if it tastes good. It was not completely good, and then I added a little bit more powdered sugar in there to mix it out to help it. So I thought I was done there, and then I did it off camera for like about 2 more minutes. So I mixed it with a spatula and then realized it was not a thick consistency. You need to have like a thick consistency so you can do it, spread it properly, and it looked still too thin. So I went off, I was like, I was gonna start smearing it off the cake, but I realized that it didn't work. So now we're gonna pull out the cake holder thingy to help hold the cake on. Now you don't need a cake, one of those cake things, because you can also use like a plate, or if you want to, but I don't have, all my paper plates are paper plates and they would not hold. Now make sure when you pull out this last piece of plastic that it does not fall on the floor if you have a dog, because you do not want your dog to get chocolate. There we go, got it out. Now we just pull off the plastic. Should look something like this. I had a chunk of Oreo sticking out, which is totally fine. I thought about going to the local grocery store and getting like some gel to write Happy Mother's Day on the cake. So I did, off camera, I did a little bit more of the mixing, so that's the consistency you want. So now you just spread it all over the place. So I did have a little extra to give to my mom for whipped topping. So it's just, you just do your topping, like spread it around. I'm knocking the camera, I'm sorry if it's the camera's moving. So you just want to, like, you want to cover it really good, but you also don't want to over cover it. Because I see I missed a spot, I think I come back to fix it. Yes. So you just want to do it as best as you can. Just make sure you get everything covered so that you don't have any bare spots. I think I forgot this back spot a little bit, I see, but I believe I came back and saw it and fixed it. Yep, there we go. Now I'm fixing the spot. So my mom took the rest of the topping. I made sure there was no chocolate in there because you don't need. There, I fixed the spot that was bugging me. Now you want to do sprinkles on top. And then I called my mom to show her my beautiful cake because I thought it was really pretty. Now I actually had to rearrange my freezer a little bit so it would fit. I was eating some. So guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe this video. Comment down below what you want to see next. And the question of the day is, have you ever made an ice cream cake? And this ice cream cake is really good.